PropCo has a very sophisticated yet simple to operate account system based on a conventional double entry accounting model, which covers all aspects of the lettings accounts process. It extends to complete client account reconciliation to ensure true representation of the client account and is fully compliant with ARLA and RICS regulations. PropCo Enterprise caters for collection of rent by direct debit. Simply ensure the tenant's banking details are saved and validated and the payment method is set to direct debit. The first step in collecting rent by direct debit is to generate a payment request file off the Accounts menu. Simply enter the dates between which the direct debit due date falls. The next step is to export the direct debit payment request file to import into the banking software. Select the direct debit request batch and press Print. This will generate a payment request file in the prescribed direct debit format by the bank. Save the BACS file onto your local system and then simply import this file into whichever banking software you use. Once the direct debits have been collected, the final step is to process the receipts on PropCo. Press Finish and the system generates the tenant receipts report confirming that the receipts are being imported. The rent receipt is immediately reflected onto the tenant's record. The rent is automatically allocated to the landlord and the system automatically deducts the management commission, unless of course it's a let-only tenancy. The remaining balance is left in the landlord account and is paid in the next statement run. Using PropCo Enterprise, you can import standing order payments from tenants using an import file, which is a real time saver. On the cash register, select the option to automatically register receipts using an import file. Press Next, and the system prompts you to select the file. This is typically a CSV, comma-separated values file, which can be generated from most banking software. Next, select the bank account these receipts were paid into, and hit Start Import. The receipts are swiftly imported, and any exceptions are notified, so they can be dealt with appropriately. Click OK. A report is generated detailing every receipt imported and their overall total. The receipts are matched using the internal BACS ID, which must be unique for every tenant. Hit Post to Cash Register. This is your last opportunity to review the receipts before finalising them. The receipts are instantly visible on the tenant account, and any overpayments or underpayments are dealt with appropriately. So, there we are. You can save time and reduce opportunity for error using the electronic receipts importer. Any outstanding invoices ready to be deducted are shown on the Invoices Demands screen. These can be taken off automatically or controlled manually using a single-click process called Fee Run. This is available under the Main Accounts pull-down menu. The deductions are reflected on the landlord account immediately and the current balance is reduced accordingly. The available balance is what will be paid to the landlord in the next statement run. The next step is to prepare the statements. Go to Accounts, Prepare Statements, and then Pay Landlords, Prepare Landlord Statements. Statement batches can be grouped by Account Centre and Statement Group. This table shows all the landlords where a statement can be sent, including the landlord Fred Hoyle, whom we allocated rent against earlier in the video. Simply select the landlords you want to pay using the quick filters on the top. Select Rent, for example, will automatically select landlords that have had rent since their last statement. Then hit Pay Now and the statements get generated in seconds. The final step of the landlord payout routine is to generate a BACS file and print or email out the statements. Landlord statements are organised in batches by date. It's possible to preview statements before making a payment. To email the statements in one batch, untick the preview option, select the desired batch and press Print. Statements are either printed or emailed according to the preference set on the landlord record. Accompanying reports are generated for validating the payments, such as the Statement Report, which shows a summary of all statements and their grand total. and the payment report, which lists all payments being made by the method of payment and the corresponding account details. Next, a BACS file is generated and landlords are notified by a text message automatically. Finally, the statements can be emailed to landlords at the end of the process. It's that simple. Paying contractors on PropCo is just as easy. The accumulative total of all the invoices allocated to a contractor is shown as the current balance. Contractors' bank details are stored on the Banking tab and used to indicate whether the contractor is VAT registered. The first step to pay the contractors is to prepare the statements off the Accounts menu. Simply select the contractors you wish to pay and press Pay Now. The next step is to email the statements and generate the payment instruction file as we did during landlord payouts. The BACS file, along with various reports, is generated to validate and process the payments. Historical statements can be retrieved from the contractor record in a matter of a few clicks. Reconciling the client account on PropCo is very straightforward. Simply key in the opening and closing balance for any given period taken from the bank statement and select the bank account you wish to reconcile. Note that multiple bank accounts can be reconciled. Transactions are automatically grouped by date, then by payment reference, but can be reordered if needed. Entries can be searched using the handy search facility. And you can simply tick the transactions you wish to reconcile. An entire batch of transactions can be reconciled at once. Reconciling is complete when the difference between the opening and the closing balance reaches zero. A reconciliation audit report is printed at the end of the process. It's that easy. The system balance sheet is a fundamental point of reference in PropCo. It is an accurate reflection of the client account. Balances are grouped by date, then by region, then by individual bank account. Each bank account is further broken down into individual ledgers, such as landlord, tenant, contractor, and agent. Also shown are unallocated and unreconciled balances, and the overall total of all of the balances. Each total can be substantiated by a corresponding report, such as the landlord balance report as shown. All monies in and out of the system processed on the system are recorded in the Payments and Receipts Journal, the equivalent of the cash book in conventional accounting terms. This contains a summary of net trading for the selected date and then the individual transaction history. For example, here's the transaction we applied earlier in the demo. The Agent Journal is a key part of the period-end reports. This report details the net income earned by the agent for any given period. Transactions are displayed by office, then the nominal code, then the relevant agent account. The overall totals for the net and VAT ledgers are given at the end of the journal. The journal is cleared down periodically and reconciled. The period-end routine also includes production of the tax journal for overseas landlords. PropCo can automatically deduct tax from the net income of overseas landlords. The total of these deductions are shown on the balance sheet under tax reserve. The tax return can be produced quarterly and submitted to Inland Revenue. The C&R tax journal is cleared down at the end of the quarter to coincide with the payment of the tax collected to Inland Revenue. There are a host of other useful reports which aid in data analysis across a vast cross-section of your portfolio. Call us today to book a demo. And that's how PropCo can handle all of your client accounting needs. Thank you.